Hello and welcome to another lesson in our JavaScript series. In this lesson, we'll be taking a look at block scope in JavaScript. Actually, when you try to declare a variable and you do something like this via x is equal to 6 in JavaScript, if you move down to maybe another section of your code or something, and you now say, okay, well, I want to give this x another value of string. Yeah. Let's say you want to change it from a number to a string. Now, if you take a look at this, my console, you will see that even though it was first initialized and declared as a number, I have easily changed the value, which means that if maybe there is a part of my program that depends on the use of that 6, and now I'm reassigning it a value, there's definitely going to be an error in my code. So this is what makes var keyword globally scoped, which means that it can be accessed anywhere in your code. But now, if we take a look at let's keyword for JavaScript variable declaration, we will see that in the previous lesson, we were not able to declare it, even though we can update the value. I said declaring a variable with const is similar to let when it comes to block scope, which means that inside the scope of let or const, you cannot declare them. And what that means is this. So let's say I have let city equals to Bahamas. Now, if I try to redeclare city, take a look. City has already been declared. But if I wrap this in this curly brace and I try to do city is equal to Miami. Now, you can see that even though I am not getting anything in my console, if I do city, I'm getting Bahamas. But in the same block, in the same program, I'm able to redeclare this variable name using the same let keyword outside of that scope, which means that anything that is within this scope is only within that scope. Anything outside it, I can no longer use this city. But I'm able to use this city just because of these two curly braces, which I use in order to let JavaScript interpreter understand that I am outside of that scope before I'm declaring that variable. And that is the reason why you see it's not throwing an error. If I take out these two curly braces, just take a look, you'll see that the error will be returned that city has already been declared. And it is the same thing if I try const. So if I change this let to const, and I change it to const here, it is going to give me that error. But if I introduce that curly brace again, take a look, you can see that that error has disappeared. And even though I'm not getting the value of this Miami, but at least I'm able to declare it without that red squiggly line. So outside of that block scope, you can declare it and it will, allow you to give it another value. Redeclaring a JavaScript variable is allowed anywhere in a program. So anywhere you declare var and you try to call it or update it, your program JavaScript supports it once your variable declaration keyword is var, and it is the reason why it is not a recommended way to declare variable. An example is variable x is equal to 2. If I try to change x to 6, it will still work. Redeclaring an existing var or let variable to const in the same scope is not allowed. So what that means is that now I'm going to take this out. Just take a look. If I try to do something like I'm changing the keyword. In the same scope, JavaScript will not allow it. And if I even try to use var city, you can see the error. So if I change this to let, and I try to use this another variable declaration keyword in the same scope, JavaScript will not allow it, and it will show this error that an identifier city has already been declared. So reassigning an existing const variable in the same scope is not allowed, which means that scope is only contained within that section of declaration. So anything outside of that container that contains that declaration for your variable name is going to throw an error. Redeclaring a variable with const in another block is allowed, like the way I use that curly braces to demonstrate that once that curly braces is around your variable, it signals to JavaScript that you're outside of the first scope that you might have used that variable name. It will allow it and so on. JavaScript supports it. But anything within the same scope, that block scope, it will throw an error. Thank you. I'll see you in the next lesson as we continue our learning journey.